Turn tight on an all-new action-packed episode of Brisco County Jr. next Friday at 8, 7 Central. Next Friday.
Hello. How are you guys? It's really great to see you. I'm Carlton Hughes, one of the show creators and showrunner, executive producer, and this is the Orb from Brisco. And I'm really happy to have you guys all here with us, joining us virtually tonight. It's been, it's kind of crazy, you know, I'm kind of holed up here in my house. Not much has been going on. I think they are holding the leaf blower Olympics in my neighborhood. But we're really happy to have you here. This is really great. Big thanks to Ben Blacker for putting this all together. And I think we should start right now with introducing the original cast members who are joining us tonight for this event, starting with Brisco himself, Bruce Campbell.
What the heck is going on? I happen to be in the neighborhood. Thought I'd stop in.
And let's welcome Kelly Rutherford, the inimitable Dixie.
Yay! Hi guys.
Hi, Kelly.
And Christian Clemenson, Socrates.
Hello.
Great.
Hello.
Socrates.
Hello.
Cool. Hello, Christian.
Hey, Chris.
Good
John
to see you,
Piper,
Bruce.
John Piper Ferguson, who plays Pete
Woo!
Hutter.
Don't
Hey there,
question
shooters and
JP.
shootresses.
Yes, sir.
Hey, shooter.
And the inimitable John Aston.
Yay.
Woo!
The professor
Yay.
is in the
Hey,
house. There he
I
is.
got it
Oh.
back.
Hi,
the video.
Professor.
Hey.
Yeah. How are you?
Wait. It's so great to see you guys. Brisco was the first show that I created, and it really came about because I was working with my then partner, a writer named Jeffrey Boehm, on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and a young enterprising executive at the Fox network named Bob Greenblatt called me up and said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing something like Indiana Jones for television? And my lovely wife lives in New Mexico, and I was out there visiting, and literally on a Southwest airplane flying back on cocktail napkins, I kind of had this idea. I had this title, The Adventures of Brisco County Jr., and this sort of core idea of a bounty hunter a Harvard-educated bounty hunter who was basically trying to track down these villains in the Old West who were responsible for the murder of his father, Brisco County Sr., the world's, the West's greatest lawman. And that premise started us on this incredible journey that included a writer named David Simpkins, who co-authored the pilot. And we worked for almost a year getting the script ready, and then Fox ordered it to series. And then the first and most important task was, how do we cast Brisco? And so Bruce came in, and Bruce, do you remember how it was that you distinguished yourself in that audition
Yeah.
that maybe caught our attention?
Yeah, my back still is paying the price. I used to do an act with Sam Raimi, who's now a filmmaker, called The Bonzoid Sisters. And we did these very poor acrobatics and would stand up and ask for applause and money. We did this at talent shows and stuff. So I could do a forward flip. And in the script, part of the audition was there was a fight scene. There was all the dialogue stuff and the comedy stuff, but there's a fight scene. And I'm auditioning in a casting office that's probably 8 feet by 8 feet, including a desk. And I'm like, well, how are we going to do a fight scene in this office? I don't really get it. So I went, okay, well, you got limited space. Just flip yourself. So I flipped myself, and I'm going to get his name wrong, but the casting director leaped out of his chair like, oh my God, are you okay? And
John Levy.
Yeah, John Levy. It caused chaos in the room. And he's like, wow, okay. So that he got attention, but you have to work your way up the totem pole. I did 5 auditions to get this part. 1 for the casting, 1 for the producers, 1 for the studio, 1 to see if we have chemistry, and 1 eventually for Fox. And so they kept going. Hey, are you going to do that flip? You can do that flip? I'm like, give me the part. Give me the part already, and I'll do as many flips as you want. So it was just something simple. But, Brisco was a very physical role. I was almost at the height of my physical powers at that point. So it was a great opportunity. Who wouldn't want to play a cowboy? It was very fancifully written, very classy production. It was Warner Brothers Television. I don't know, everything about it was really fun. Jeffrey Boehm, a Hollywood writer. There's a lot of really fun stuff involved in that. So, and then, this crazy cast, massive fan, of John Astin. He was my idol. So to get someone like him in the show, I'm like, so.
At the time, it was a complete, wish. It was like, well, this guy is like John Astin, but we'll never get John Astin. So
right.
who are we going to get like John Astin? And I remember John Levy, the casting director, said, well, why don't we ask John Astin? And we're like, okay, ask John Astin, but John Astin is never going to do it. But John Astin did it. So that was great. John, do you have any memories of playing Professor Wickwire?
Yeah, I had a great time doing it. There were so many unusual moments. I remember going down in that diving bell from World War I, and it was very heavy.
This show was made before everything was done with visual effects. So all of these things were practical. So at the end of the pilot, for instance, there's this rocket car that, so Professor Wickwire has built this rocket, which ends up getting repurposed and put on a railroad sidecar. And our actual crew built this thing, and they put propane tanks in it. And we went up to Sonora, California, and literally, I remember we were standing, and Bruce got on it, and it actually ran. It had like a little motor, but it also could shoot like a 30-foot flame of fire out the back. And Bruce is riding on it, and we had a railroad crossing, and these cars pull up, and people are just waiting for the train to cross, and all of a sudden Bruce goes by, riding a rocket with a saddle, and then pushing the flame button.
Yeah, a lot of time as an actor, you have to really use your imagination. You go, all right, I'm on a rocket and I'm going to catch this train, but it's in a studio. No, this was like, you're on a rocket and they light the thing in the back, and I have essentially a go-kart underneath me, but this thing could go, and they go, just try and catch it. Just try and catch the train because it'll be going. And I'm like, really? So I had to punch it. I had to hit it full speed. And at one point I bashed into the back of the train and bent the cone. They're like, okay, that was too much. That was too much, and so we had to like get close and then get the rope out and like try and lasso the train. Now it's like, okay, let's just do all that. Let's just do that. So
there's no
fun to give
world
it a
in
shot.
which the liability for that would occur.
No.
Not what happened. Kelly, and then we got the beautiful and wonderful Kelly Rutherford to join the cast as Dixie, and it was such a great part of the show. What do you remember about your time on Brisco?
I remember you asking me if I could sing, and I was like, no. I can't. Come on, just try. And you brought me into the recording studio, and I was like taking singing lessons, and I was all excited. I was like, okay, maybe this is my moment, And you came back to me afterwards and like, no, we're gonna have you sing it. And kind of the same with the dancing. I remember when Elaine came on, I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I just kind of, made it work into the character. But the scenes were so fun. I mean, the way it was written and everything, and working with Bruce, and like it was just, I have such good memories. It was so much fun.
That's great. And Chris, oh my gosh, the inimitable Socrates Poole. And Chris was perfect as the person who was trying to liaison between the robber barons and this roguish bounty hunter Bruce played. What do you remember about your time on the show?
Oh God, I mean, I remember the people. Bruce, do you remember the name of the man who was craft service?
Yes, Ron Weber.
Ron Weber. I mean, there were so many characters like Ron Weber, and for some reason on the series, craft service was involved in cleaning up horse shit and providing us with food.
Yeah, Ron Weber. Ron Weber would take his broom. He'd take his broom and he would sweep up the horse crap, and he'd go, another shingle on my roof. You know, that guy was great. Never had a bad day in his life.
I think he
No.
claimed that that was the original purpose of craft service, was to clean horse shit on Westerns. And so
Yes.
that the two went hand in hand. You would clean horse shit and serve snacks.
Perfect.
Yes. A logical combination to me.
No jerk.
And JP, the Pete Hutter, just one of our craziest inventions. And you brought him to life with like your own special twist. What do you remember about the show?
Oh my gosh. I have so many memories since we started to get this thing together. My first memory is coming in to audition on the second floor of that building in Warner Brothers for you and Jeffrey and John Levy. And Christian was there and he was practicing his lines and I could hear him practicing his lines. And I was like, that guy's going to get that role, man. And then I remember, then I got cast, and then I remember walking into the reading and wondering who Brisco was going to be, because it was just such a phenomenal script. And I looked over and I saw Bruce, and I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere, and I figured it out. I had gone to see a movie, Three Men and a Baby, but it was sold out. So we went into this bohunk, lousy horror movie called The Evil Dead and had the best night of our lives watching that. So
Good.
that
It was fate, JP.
Well, it was fate indeed. Yeah. So I like just tons of memories. Then us getting to shoot a showdown on that lot on Warner Brothers, where so many other movies and Westerns had happened before. That was such a big thrill too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things about it, Brisco, was it was kind of the end of this long run and legacy of Westerns. And Warner Brothers used to have a Western street on their back lot called Laramie Street. And they had shot Maverick there with Jim Garner and lots of movies. And we shot right there on the lot, and they brought horses in. We had a cattle stampede on the lot one day. And we would have barbecues on Friday afternoons, and it was incredible. It was kind of idyllic. And then, of course, as time went on and Warner Brothers expanded their footprint, they turned it into a giant high-rise plus Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives, right?
Yeah, we were the last show, I think, on Laramie Street, and I got to meet James Garner and finally tell him that. I said, hey, I think you might have been right there when it was at the peak, but I said, I think we closed it out. You know, I said, I hope we did it proud for you.
Yeah, and we had all these great stunt people who had worked on these Westerns, and Wranglers, and you know, Clint Lilly, and you know, for this family of Wranglers and stunt people. And it was really, it was great.
Gordon
Gordon Spencer.
Gordon Spencer, yes.
He'd come up to me. He'd come up to me after we would do something, and he'd come up to me and go, "You really are a phony son of a bitch." Thank you. I go, Gordon, I trained for a month with you in a ring. I did everything you told me to. Yeah. Maybe next time you'll get it right.
All right.
Former Marine. The guy was great.
All right. Well, now we're going to get down to the fun stuff. We're gonna read the pilot episode here. Before we do, I do want to just give a shout out to some of the original cast members who are no longer with us, like Arlie Ermey, who played Brisco County Senior, and Julius Carey, who played Lord Bowler, Billy Drago, who played John Bly.
Too good of a bad guy. Best bad guy.
Yep.
And I also want to acknowledge Kim Manners, who directed many of our episodes, who was just an incredible ball of energy and contributed so much to how the show was executed. And
Kim was great because he would lose his voice directing whenever he directed. And we knew it was going to be a good episode if he lost his voice like about after day one of shouting encouragement at the crew.
He was just the most enthusiastic guy ever. Anyway, we have an incredible supporting cast of wonderful actors who are going to be joining us and filling in all the other roles and narrating and music and all sorts of exciting things. So I think right now what I would like to do is ask you guys to turn off your video. And I am going to now introduce Eric Edelstein, who is our narrator. And I welcome you to The Adventures of Brisco County Jr., written by David Simpkins, Jeffrey Boehm, and myself.
Yes. We begin with the cold open. Fade in on a period map of the West. Camera moves in on the map toward a mountain range labeled the Sierra Nevada Mountains. It's 1893 at a railroad construction site where a group of manacled Chinese laborers dig a tunnel under the watchful eye of some nasty-looking white cowboys. They strike something metal and unearth it. A smooth metal sphere about twice the size of a basketball. Numerous cleats like the ends of rods protrude about an inch from the surface and cover the orb. As if guided by an unseen force, one laborer grips one of the protruding rod ends and pulls it from the orb. As the rod emerges, we see that it's about a foot in length and glowing brightly. Then, snap, snap, snap! The laborers break their manacles and free themselves. They run from the tunnel, free, leaving the orb behind. Rocky Mountains Day. A train thunders through the mountains. The locomotive pulls only 2 cars, a passenger car and a heavily armored prison car. Chapter 1, The Last Supper. Finds us on that train with the legendary U.S. Marshal Brisco County overseeing the transport of the notorious Bly gang to prison. The reporter, Jonah Collier, admires County's pearl-handled pistol, and we get a sense of the Marshal's heroic and good-humored dignity. Meanwhile, up at a narrow pass ahead, a huge boulder has been rolled across the railroad tracks. A scrawny fellow named Owens paints a scenic mural on the side of the boulder that causes it to blend into the background and become virtually invisible. It looks like the tracks recede into the horizon. An outlaw named Pete Hutter rides up to Owens.
Well,
You know what you done here, Owens? You've captured the epic grandeur of the great American West.
thanks, Pete.
Personally, I have little use for this current crop of Frenchmen who slap their paint on in thick, bold strokes of vibrant color, call themselves impressionists. Guess I'm just a classicist at heart.
A train whistle.
Here she comes. Clear the tracks!
Owens makes his last few touches, then runs off the tracks. Well, you know what happens next. The train crashes into the rock and the outlaws free the Bly gang. John Bly sees an opportunity to rid himself of the lawful thorn in his side.
So sorry, Marshal. Little change of plans.
Oh, newspaper headlines from Kansas City, St. Louis, and San Francisco. They spiral up and hurl headlines into our faces. Federal Marshal Brisco County murdered. The West mourns a hero. John Bly gang escapes. Camera moves in tight on the masthead of the final newspaper, the San Francisco Gazette. Gazette office, day. Camera pulls back from a matching Gazette masthead framed on the wall. We find ourselves in the office of reporter Jonah Collier, now sporting 2 broken arms. Collier dictates a story to a female clerk. A male clerk holds a cigar for him.
Firsthand, I witnessed the incredible cunning of the outlaw, John Bly, as he masterminded his own escape.
His own escape.
An escape which occurred despite the massive security precautions that the railroad undertook. It seems they thought of everything except the eyesight of the engineer. Still eludes me how anyone could drive a train into the side of a giant painted rock with scenery on it no more believable than the backdrops down at the Horseshoe Club.
That's good.
Of course it's good. Give me that cigar. Sit down. Speaking of clubs, down at the far more posh Westerfield Club, the leading robber barons of the West have been convening. It seems the return of John Bly and his gang is bad for business. It also seems the robber barons have lost faith in the very government they bought and paid for. Oh my God, it's itching again.
Collier tries to scratch one of his arms with the other, but because both are bound in casts, it is a comical exercise in futility.
Which one, the right or the left?
Both of them. Ah! Sit down. Word has it that the five tycoons have given their lapdog and legal counselor Socrates Poole the responsibility for hiring their own private bounty hunter.
Who? Lord Bowler?
While the infamous tracker Lord Bowler has made his appearance here in town, he'll not go home with the assignment. My sources tell me the man with the inside track is none other than Brisco County Jr.
There's another one?
Yes, that's right. And hats off to the robber barons for their selection. I hear young County is a Harvard-educated lawyer, a scholar. By all accounts, a man of refinement and elegance and polish. My only question is this: how did they ever rope him into it?
Square of a small Mexican town, day. A Mexican bandit named Chava shouts to his heavily armed companions.
Get the rope!
A rope with a noose on the end sails over the limb of a tree and is fastened around the neck of a mounted cowboy whose hands are tied behind his back. The cowboy is around 30, rugged and handsome with a week's worth of beard growth and 2 weeks' worth of trail dust. Pete Brisco County Jr.
Any final words, Senor County Jr.?
Yeah. I didn't do it.
You cheat me in cards, and now you lie to my face? Adios, senor. Better luck in the next world.
Chava gives the signal, and one of the bandits gives Briscoe's horse, Comet, a hard slap across the rump.
Easy, Comet.
Comet fidgets nervously, but doesn't budge.
Slap the horse again.
Another slap, but Comet holds his ground.
Easy, boy. Good Comet.
Again! Slap the horse again!
A third slap does no good.
Hang the horse!
And that's when a young woman, Maria, runs out of the cantina holding a playing card high in the air.
Wait! I found the card. I found the ace of spades.
Where?
It was in Carlos's pocket.
Angry, darting looks among the bandits. Carlos knows the jig is up. He draws both pistols with a crossed arm motion and begins to blast away. Chava and the other bandits return fire. Brisco is trapped in the crossfire. Bullets whiz overhead and past his nose.
Slow, Comet. Easy, Comet.
Then an errant bullet cuts the rope. Brisco urges Comet forward with the heels of his boots.
Now, Comet, go!
And Brisco gallops off on Comet's back as the bandits continue their gunfight. Library at the Westerfield Club. Day. Lots of mahogany and leather. 5 robber barons sit in a room. They are Kenyon Drummond, cattle, James Paulson, mining, Randall Thurgood, railroads, Francis Kilbridge, shipping, and the oldest and most imposing, Collis B. Gaspar, banking. With them is Socrates Poole, a dapper, tightly wound young lawyer.
What young fella, Socrates, but I hope you made the right choice.
What's a man's background? That's what I'd like to know.
We've been over this before.
I know, son, but stampede it past me one more time.
His mother died when he was 3. He was raised by his father, legendary lawman Brisco County. Goes east at age 18, graduates AB, Harvard College, class of 87, graduates LLB, Harvard Law, class of 90. Practices law for 1 year, then moves on to other endeavors. He is currently between situations and thus available to us.
I'll leave it to Poole to hire himself another lawyer.
I have to work with the man, don't forget.
Oh, how much longer must we keep waiting? Where's this Brisco County Junior of yours?
I'm sure he'll be here any minute.
Blows on Briscoe's boots as they clomp across the Westerfield Club's expensive oriental carpet. Spurs jangle and pieces of dried mud flake off. Club members, seated in plush leather chairs, look up from their newspapers in astonishment as Briscoe passes by. Briscoe's boots come to a halt as Briscoe pauses to buff clean one toe and then the other against his pant leg. Then they continue on. Library. The club's butler opens the door.
Gentlemen, Mr. County has arrived.
Socrates smiles with relief, and then Briscoe appears. He looks worse than before. His spurs clang and a cloud of dust engulfs him as he moves into the room. The robber baron's jaws drop.
Which one of you is Aristotle Poole?
That's Socrates, Poole.
Oh, sorry. I suppose that's a common mistake.
Not at all.
Well, it is if you flunk Greek philosophy 2 years in a row.
There is now loud commotion at the door as Comet tries to follow Briscoe into the room.
I told you to wait outside. This isn't the first time we've had this discussion. You'll have to excuse Comet. He doesn't know he's a horse.
Mr. County, I'd like you to meet your employers.
James Paulson.
Mr. Paulson owns the mines.
Francis Kilbridge.
Shipping.
Kenyon Drummond.
Cattle.
Randall Thurrigan. I own the railroads.
Carlos P. Gaspar.
Mr. Gaspar owns
everything.
No, young man, just the banks.
Yeah, but the banks own everything.
Mr. County, hope you know you're late.
Late? Hell, I almost didn't make it at all. Can I give you fellas a good piece of advice? Anybody here play poker? I'm talking about the south of the border style, sweating tequila, one-eyed Jack's cutthroat poker? I guess not. Forget I mentioned it.
We understand you're a lawyer, Mr. County.
Oh, not anymore. Tried it. Didn't much like it.
That's a shameful waste of 7 years, isn't it?
Well, it's better than a shameful waste of an entire lifetime. No offense, Sophocles.
Socrates.
Mr. County, do you mind telling us what you've been up to recently?
Recently?
Yes. There appears to be a gap in your resume. Perhaps you could fill us in on your most recent activities.
Well, I'll tell you. I've been looking.
Looking?
For the coming thing. It's 1893. We're only 7 years away from a new century. The 20th century. Don't you sense it? The coming thing. It's out there on the horizon. It's right around the corner.
And what exactly is the coming thing, Mr. County?
You guys aren't too bright for a bunch of robber barons, are you? If I knew exactly what it was, it wouldn't be coming. It would already be here.
I think we've heard enough, Mr. County. We're not fools. We won't be treated as such. Good day to you, sir.
Now, just a minute, Thurgood.
I want this job, and I'm the man to get it done. Never mind that I'm Brisco County's son. This job isn't my birthright. The important thing is that I can outshoot, outride, outfight, outrope, outspit, and outthink John Bly and any one of his gang. You didn't make a mistake when you hired me, but you're about to make one now. That's all I've got to say on this subject.
Socrates, take Mr. County into your office and have him sign the damned employment agreement.
Yes, sir, Mr. Gaspar. Come with me.
Socrates leads Brisco out a private door.
I like that man.
You were never a very good judge of character, Collis.
Interior Socrates' private office. Brisco bends over a wash basin, splashing water onto his face. Socrates sorts through some papers.
You're not quite what I expected, Mr. County.
Expectations lead to disappointment, Socrates. That's why I try not to have any.
You almost cost us both our jobs. They don't like being called robber barons, you know.
Of course they don't. It isn't exactly a compliment. Hand me a towel, will you?
Huh?
A towel right behind you. Thanks.
Don't start getting the wrong idea. I am not your lackey or your butler. I am a liaison between you and your employers. You will provide me with regular updates on your progress, and I, in turn, will issue you bi-monthly pay vouchers for your services. If you expect to be reimbursed for any out-of-pocket expenses, I suggest you keep your receipts.
Do you make up these little speeches in advance and then memorize them?
Some people regard my skills in this area as an asset.
He points to some boxes resting on the floor.
These have been sent here for you. Your father's things.
Brisco approaches one of the boxes and lifts the lid. Inside is his father's carved pearl-handled revolver. Brisco twirls the gun skillfully on his finger. It becomes a silver blur until coming to rest within the holster on his hip.
Well, I'll keep this.
What about the rest?
Send it off to the Dead Sheriff's Museum.
That's a bit cold, isn't it?
What if it is?
Nothing. I'm sorry. I withdraw the comment. It's none of my business.
Look, Socrates, my father was the greatest lawman the West has ever seen. He knew it was a risky business, and so did I.
In other words, you had a long time to prepare for his death.
All my life.
I see.
Brisco points to an envelope on the floor next to the door.
Did you drop something?
Someone slid it under the door.
I'll see what it is.
Stanion's, table 4, 3 p.m. What do you think?
I think I'm starving. I haven't eaten in 2 days, and we're already late.
Interior, Stanion's restaurant day. Brisco and Socrates occupy a window by the window. Brisco watches the workers with pickaxes outside.
Imagine, Socrates, what this city is going to be like with a whole system of cables hauling trolleys up and down the hills.
With all the attendant risks of negligence and liabilities, it's a lawyer's nightmare.
Get used to it. It won't be long before there are motorized trolleys that won't even need tracks.
It's admirable that you have this ability to constantly think about the future. I myself find I'm always bogged down in the present.
Brisco has lost interest in Socrates' reply.
I wonder who sent this note anyway.
That's when the huge figure of a man, dressed in a black long coat and wearing a bowler hat, appears behind Brisco.
Me. I did.
The man lowers himself into the empty chair across from Brisco. It is none other than Lord Bowler.
Lord Bowler, Manhunter, you may have heard of me.
Once or twice.
With your daddy around, I could barely make a living. And now, Brisco County. You don't have the huevos rancheros for this job, County, so I suggest you quit while you're ahead. I'm going after Bly and his gang, and I'm going alone.
I don't think so, Bowler.
Then I propose a challenge, County. The last man remaining at this table gets the job.
Well, that's fine with me, Bowler, but I gotta warn you. I'm real hungry and I could be here all day.
Bowler reaches deep into his pocket of his long coat and produces 5 sticks of dynamite wrapped in a bundle and sets them on the table.
Let's find out.
Bowler picks up and lights the long trailing fuse.
Excuse me, I'm late for a deposition.
Brisco, completely unruffled, pulls Socrates back down.
A waiter. We're ready to order.
Brisco peruses the menu as the waiter appears at their table.
Everything looks so good. You want something, Bowler?
I've already eaten.
The waiter regards the burning fuses with growing alarm.
What do you recommend?
The minute steak.
Can't decide. What are you having, Euripides?
You're nothing but a sugarfoot glory grabber out to make a name for himself using dead daddy's overblown reputation. What would your dead dumb daddy think of that?
He'd think you were right. I'll take the steak, thick and rare.
Right away, sir.
The waiter is thrilled to be excused. Brisco leans back with a contented smile. Sweat beads up on Bowler's forehead. He stares at the ever-shortening fuse. Cut to black. Chapter 2. Uptown Shakedown. The fuse sparks. It is now the last possible moment. Socrates screams and jumps from the table. Suddenly, thwack! Bowler whips out a huge knife and cuts the fuse. It fizzles out. He sighs in profound relief.
You lose.
In anger and frustration, Bowler flips the table over onto Brisco.
Yes, again.
And he charges. Bowler's knife gets knocked away in the fray, but that doesn't slow him down. Brisco and Bowler go at each other, trading punches. Finally, Brisco catches Bowler with a solid right. Bowler staggers into a nearby table, and Bowler drops unconscious to the floor in a tangle of linen, silverware, and china. Brisco catches his breath and straightens himself up.
Your steak, sir?
Well done.
No, medium rare.
I guess I'll eat at the bar.
Suddenly, 3 policemen burst in the front door. They swoop down on Brisco and Bowler.
Or by bars.
Interior railroad construction tent. The Orb sits atop one of the desks inside the heavily guarded tent. Inside the tent are Randall Thorogood and 2 men from the government, a federal agent and a scientist from the Smithsonian.
This belongs to the railroad.
The track may be yours, Mr. Thorogood, but the land is the government's, and that goes for everything found on it.
Yeah, sir, I hope you understand that this object may be of extreme scientific importance.
It's hogwash.
I would hardly say that an object that appears to give off supernatural strength is hogwash.
I was referring to the validity of the government's claim.
Nevertheless, the government is taking possession. My job is to transport this orb here on the special government gold train to Washington.
Why Washington?
Well, it's going to my lab at the Smithsonian for study and safekeeping.
I really believe this orb has special powers.
Mr. Thorogood, let me put it this way. As a scientist, I've examined what happened here empirically, and I don't see any better explanation.
If you'll excuse me, sir, we've got work to do. Get this thing packed up.
Outside the tent, a few minutes later, the orb now rests in a cradle while the soldiers hammer together a crate around it. Other soldiers stand guard. The wagon driver turns to the scientist and hands him a shipping manifest to sign.
What are we hauling here?
They lift the sealed crate and drop it in the back of a large wagon with a loud thud.
Hey, careful, careful! It's an unearthed foreign object.
Kind of a mouthful there, Chief.
So the driver just chalks the following onto the side of the crate. UFO.
All right, all aboard.
A canyon, day. A rider, lightning bolt, gallops down the canyon. Further down, he comes to an abrupt halt. Why? Camera pans up for the answer. 4 rifle barrels, visible on the range above, pointed at the rider. The voices of a lookout drift down from the ridge.
That's far enough.
I've got a message for Mr. Bly.
Interior cave entrance, day. The lookout leads Lightning Bill by torchlight into the entrance of a large cave.
Careful. There's shafts all over the place. Stay to the left.
John Bly's lair is a deep underground cavern the size of a church cathedral and decorated like a Victorian mansion. Bly's #1 henchman, Big Smith, stands in front of a group of outlaws. Big Smith looks affable enough, but his eyes are pure evil. He wears a distinctive black hat. The hat band is lined with $100 bills folded into triangles.
This is the main rail line, and this is the abandoned track once used by ore trains for the Humboldt Mining Company. The spur we're building connects the 2 tracks right here.
Lightning Bill and the lookout enter from the back.
Who's that?
Big Smith.
Now, in a few days' time, a special government gold train carrying 30 million in Yukon bullion is leaving San Francisco headed for the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. The train goes through a tunnel right here before our spur. The tunnel will be filled with knockout gas. The guards won't know what hit them.
Neither will stop the engineer. How are we gonna stop the train?
Train's got a dead man switch. The engineer lets go of the throttle and the train stops. So that's when we get on board. We drive the train across our spur onto the other track and we do what we gotta do.
Why rob a train and not a bank? Robbing a train's like robbing a moving bank. Bank's hard enough to rob without it speeding by at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, you're crazy, Pete. Trains don't go anywhere close to 100 miles per hour.
Shut up.
All heads turn to see John Bly step from the shadows. He stops beside a massive pipe organ. A chill settles over the outlaws.
No more banks. No more penny ante heists. This train is gonna give us the resources to bring my grand plan to its rightful conclusion.
Not that I relish the role of devil's advocate, but isn't the train schedule a closely guarded secret?
We got somebody working on that. Tycoons and politicians. What gives them the right to rule this country?
Money?
Hour?
Correct on both counts. But after this, we'll have both. The West will be ours, and the East will follow. And this whole country will be in the palm of my hand. Who the hell are you?
Lightning Bill Hookman from San Francisco. I've got some information for you, sir.
What is it?
The Tycoons. They've hired a bounty hunter.
Who? Lord Bowler?
No, Brisco County.
You idiot, he's dead.
Brisco County Jr.
The son. Out to avenge his father's death. I love it! Thank you, Lightning Bill. You can go now.
My pleasure, Mr. Bly. It's been a real honor to meet you.
Get out.
I'm going.
Oh, Bill, be careful on your way out. Stay to your left.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
A sudden shriek comes from the tunnel as Lightning Bill plunges down one of the hidden mine shafts.
No!
Did I say left? I meant right! Now take care of Junior.
You mean kill him?
That's right. We're gonna get Brisco in Frisco.
Bly sits down at the organ, limbers his fingers.
How?
Use your friends.
Don't have any friends.
Then use your enemies.
Bly attacks the keys. He plays something that sounds very much like the blues.
What is that?
I don't know, but I play it when I'm feeling blue.
Interior, courtroom in San Francisco, day. Brisco and Bowler are shackled together with a dozen other defendants in front of a tough old hanging judge who is dispensing the swift hand of justice.
Spitting is spitting. 60 days hard labor.
The first defendant is let off, dazed. Another defendant is led up to take his place.
You discharge a firearm within city limits.
Yes, I did, sir, but
60 days hard labor.
I know this judge. He's tough, but he's fair. Everybody gets the same treatment. Just keep your mouth shut. Take your 60 days.
All right, come on, next. All right, what do we got here? Disorderly conduct, public fighting, and aggravated mayhem.
the judge raises his gavel, but before he can bring it down...
Excuse me, Your Honor.
What is it?
I have a motion for the court. I'd like to request a jury trial.
A jury trial?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Judge, so you know, I have nothing to do with this man. We're in this completely separately.
I also request a complete list of prosecution witnesses who will testify against me and a continuance until such time as I have the opportunity to properly subpoena and depose these witnesses.
Are you a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
I don't have time for a jury trial.
Well, sir, the Constitution requires that you make time.
Not if there's no case. Get this damn lawyer out of my courtroom. Case dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bowler follows right on his heels.
Not you, him.
Huh?
You get 60 days hard labor.
Hey, wait a minute. That's not fair. I'm with him. Brisco, do something. I'm with him.
Brisco's hotel room, night. Brisco comes out of the bathroom. Finally, he's bathed, shaved, and cleaned up. He looks great.
Ah, it's always amazing how good a bath feels when you haven't had one for 2 or 3 weeks.
I wouldn't know.
Something wrong?
Yes. We're not getting off to a good start. Certainly, your time in jail won't be recoupable against your guarantee.
Relax, the day and a half wasn't wasted. Where's that newspaper I had in there?
Hopefully burned, along with all your clothes.
Ah, here it is. Listen to this. It's Jonah Collier's column. Ever read it?
Never.
I don't blame you. He refers to you as Thorogood's lapdog.
What? Let me see that.
Socrates reaches for the paper. Brisco holds it out of reach.
Don't be so sensitive. Calm down and listen. It's about Bly's escape. Blah, blah, blah. How anyone could drive a train into a giant painted rock with scenery on it no more believable than the backdrops down at the Horseshoe Club.
So?
Well, how many scenic painters are there around? Maybe we should go down to the Horseshoe Club and talk to this guy.
Is this the kind of deductive reasoning you learned at Harvard?
No, at Harvard, I mainly learned drinking songs and how to unsnap a woman's...
Who's that?
Maybe it's Comet.
Oh, I see you've taught him some manners. Now at least he knocks before he enters.
Very good. That was a joke, right? No, actually, it's my room service order.
Brisco opens the door. Standing before him are 3 fierce-looking Chinese Tong warriors in black. A Tong warrior lands a spinning back kick to Brisco's head. Brisco crashes to the floor. One Tong warrior we'll call Lucky because of the lucky charm he wears around his neck. All 3 Tongs take up martial arts fighting stances surrounding Brisco and Socrates.
Oh, this is perfect. I'm about to get my head kicked in and I don't even know why. Can't you do something?
Maybe I can get you an explanation.
The Tongs move in and the fight is on! Brisco grabs for his father's gun, but Lucky kicks the gun out of Brisco's hands. Socrates swings wildly at a Tong. The Tong easily ducks, then uses a jump kick to deliver a knockout blow. Socrates slumps to the floor. Brisco takes all 3 on. He is a hell of a fighter, but the Tongs' martial arts skills are just too hard to overcome. They kick, punch, break chairs. As Brisco turns a good portion of the furniture into matchsticks, Socrates comes to. He looks around, then crawls on all 4s for the gun.
Got it!
Just then, Brisco takes a vicious kick from Lucky. Brisco flies back right into Socrates, and both men crash back right out the window. Outside the hotel, Brisco catches hold of the ledge. Socrates flies past him, but manages to grab hold of Brisco's belt. He dangles precariously, holding Brisco with one hand, the gun with the other. They hang 3 stories up. Lucky sticks his hand out the window. He smacks at the ledge with a piece of broken chair. Brisco's hands dance back and forth like a ragtime piano player as he dodges the blows. Worse still, camera pulls back to reveal a wagon full of sharp pickaxes and other tools from the cable car construction parked directly below.
Help!
Hand me the gun.
I can't reach.
Then shoot him.
I can't.
Well, then shoot me and put me out of my misery.
Hard to imagine things could get worse, but that's when the earthquake starts.
An earthquake?
The ledge bucks. Stones fall from the building.
Oh my God.
Hang on.
Brisco looks up. The Tong warriors are climbing from the window to get him. Brisco looks down. The pickaxes in the window below point upward like lethal spears. There seems to be no escape. Chapter 3. Hot flames, 2 dames, and loose reins.
My fingers are slipping.
Don't worry. I've got a good grip on your belt.
Brisco does a double take and then falls. But at the same moment, the pickaxe wagon moves out of frame and a hay wagon moves in behind it. Thump! Brisco and Socrates land safely in a pile of hay, and the wagon continues down the street. Another street, day. Brisco and Socrates jump off the wagon.
You okay?
I appear to be uninjured, if that's what you mean, but I am not okay in the sense that I approve of or consent to what just occurred.
Sorry I asked.
Who were those people anyway?
Your guess is as good as mine.
No, it's not. And I'm distressed that you think it is.
You know something, Socrates? You really need to develop a personality for the times when you're not in court.
Brisco examines a small object that he holds in his hand.
What's that?
One of the attackers wore this around his neck.
We now realize that Brisco is holding Lucky's lucky charm.
It's a cheap Chinatown trinket. The city's full of them.
Do me a favor. Go down to the Horseshoe Club and see what information you can dig up on the guy who paints their backdrops.
Where are you going?
Chinatown.
And so, Brisco heads to Chinatown. There he finds a secret chamber beneath a curio shop where the Tong are walking over coals and being otherwise badass. Brisco is taken prisoner by this scarred Foot clan, learns they exist to fight the tyranny of the outlaw Big Smith, whom we met earlier with Bly's gang. The leader of the clan saves Brisco and reveals that he carved the handle of Brisco's father's gun. Li Pao tells Brisco about the orb, that it grants those who touch it great power, and tells him that the way to find Big Smith, and therefore Bly, is to search out a woman named Dixie Cousins, which sends Brisco back to San Francisco. Interior, the Horseshoe Club, night, a traditional saloon with review stage. Every badass cowboy in San Francisco is in this place tonight, but they're all in a festive mood. Socrates and Brisco are at the bar.
The backdrop painter is named Owen. He quit a month ago, left town, and never came back.
Right about the time of the train escape.
What did you learn?
That Bly's right-hand man, Big Smith, has a girlfriend named Dixie Cousins, and that she may be here in town.
That's it?
Well, it's a start. You seem to be enjoying this.
I'm sorry, but this is a huge city. You have your work cut out for you. How on earth do you expect to find this woman? Go knocking door to door? Be realistic, my dear Brisco. Dixie Cousins is not going to just fall from the sky into your lap.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your musical pleasure tonight, the incomparable mistress of song, Dixie Cousins!
Not exactly in my lap, but Close enough.
Emerging on stage is Dixie Cousins. She sings the hell out of a hoot and holler drinking song as she struts across the stage. Socrates can't take his eyes off of her. Meanwhile, a commotion off to Brisco's right draws his attention. A tomboyish beauty named Amanda Wickwire is trying to fend off a rough-faced cowboy.
Come on, baby. Just one dance. Come on.
He punctuates his request by pinching Amanda's butt. Amanda whirls around to punch him in the face, but the cowboy ducks. She connects with Brisco's nose instead. The cowboy rises back up, snickering. Amanda turns and knees him right in the nuts. Whoop! He disappears below the bar.
Oh dear. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. What? Can you take your hands away from your face?
I said, where'd you learn to throw a punch like that?
Catholic school?
That was going to be my first guess.
Are you okay?
Oh, sure. It's just my nose. Now that other fella, he might have a hard time riding home tonight.
Ugh, can't these saddle tramps keep their hands to themselves? Look at me. Look how I'm dressed. Do I look like somebody who wants to be pawed and fondled?
Well,
No. The answer is no.
Amanda now spots her father, Professor Wickwire. She grabs him from the crowd.
I came to get you. It's time for us to go now.
But the show just started.
The second show.
But I came all the way to San Francisco just to see her sing.
On the second night. You have everything, your glasses, your pills, your notebook, your pocket watch.
Yes. Didn't bring it. And yes. What would I do without her? Professor Albert Wickwire, chemist, physicist, and experimentalist.
Come on, Dad.
Bye.
Oh.
She doesn't answer. Brisco watches as she goes. Then turns his attention back to Socrates, who is fixated on Dixie's performance, his mouth hanging open.
Lawyers.
The Horseshoe Club. Later, the last drunken patrons exit the bar. Dixie emerges carrying a suitcase and hustles down the street. Brisco and Socrates follow her. Dixie stops and waits on a street corner. A hansom cab approaches. A hand emerges from the window and hands Dixie an envelope. The hand also clutches a cane with a wolf's head handle. The cab drives on. Dixie takes the envelope and hurries down a side street. Brisco and Socrates try to keep up with her. At the stagecoach station, Brisco and Socrates arrive just in time to see Dixie climb into a stagecoach that's about to depart. Brisco sees a salesman snoozing on the bench. His sample case is at his feet and his stagecoach ticket protrudes from his pocket. Brisco swipes them both.
What on earth are you doing? That's larceny.
What?
You took that man's ticket and his case.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Make sure Comet gets a green apple for breakfast. He'll love you for life.
And the stagecoach rumbles off. City Stables, day. Socrates stands in front of Comet's stall looking like he's never touched a horse in his life. Comet assesses him. Socrates offers Comet a red apple.
I couldn't find green. You'll have to settle for red. I'm sorry, it's the best I can do.
Comet turns up his nose at the apple.
Oh, please. An apple's an apple. The color is immaterial.
Where's Brisco?
What? Who said that?
Me, Comet.
Talking horse, huh?
Yeah, I can talk. What's wrong with that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. More power to you, I say.
So where's Brisco? Where's my master? I need to find him. It's very important.
Sorry. That's privileged information, Comet. Or should I say, Lord Bowler?
Smarter than you look, Poole.
I see you've escaped, Bowler. So much for the virtues of our criminal justice system.
Where's County?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
You little law book reading, robber baron butt kissing, Brisco hiding sissy, you tell me.
Why don't you ask Comet, the talking horse?
That's the best idea you've ever had, counselor.
Exterior, the stagecoach day. The two drivers share a bottle and get drunk as they steer through the night, away from San Francisco and across the Central Valley, up to the former mining town of Sutter Creek, where Dixie and Brisco are the only passengers left. Dixie sleeps. Brisco eyes are following the curves of her body up toward her cleavage when Dixie stirs and awakens.
Have we reached the mountains yet?
I was just getting there. I mean, we're almost there. Did you sleep well, Miss Cousins?
Not really. I hate sleeping alone.
Oh, you're not alone. I've been here all the while.
Oh, you missed my point, mister.
Merriweather. Roscoe Merriweather.
What's in the sample case, Roscoe?
Let's take a look.
He opens the sample case as full of anticipation as Dixie. Click, click. He lifts the brushes to reveal the gnarliest looking set of brushes you've ever seen.
Oh, my.
You can say that again.
Oh, I'd love to sample this one. What's it for?
They're for grooming. Animals. Large animals. Zoo animals.
You mean lions and tigers?
That's right.
Sounds like dangerous work.
Ma'am, I don't do the actual grooming. I just sell the brushes. But enough about me. Tell me where you're headed.
For trouble. I'm going to start some.
How's that?
Well, that's between me and my boyfriend. He's waiting for me at the next stop.
A short distance up the road, Big Smith, Pete Hutter, and the gang wait for the stagecoach at a crossroads.
She'll be coming round that old mountain. When she comes, she'll be coming.
Shut up.
On the stagecoach, the night of drinking has left the drivers drunk.
We're laughing hysterically.
You're laughing hysterically. Pickle.
Now I'm convulsing with laughter.
They laugh so hard that they literally knock heads and rebound right off the top of the stagecoach. As they hit the ground, driver number 2's gun fires. The horses spook. They whinny and break into a full tilt gallop. The stagecoach rockets away at top speed. Driver number 1 is so drunk he can barely pull himself up to his elbows.
Hey, get back here!
But the stagecoach is long gone.
This is bad.
Yeah.
Inside the stagecoach, Brisco and Dixie are knocked off their seats.
What's happening?
Well, looks like we just lost our drivers. The stage is out of control.
Oi.
Sure enough, the stagecoach is flying down the road out of control. It bounces and careens as it races toward an inevitable crash. The lead horses snort and drive harder. The reins flap uselessly on the ground. The racing coach hits a rock and tilts up on 2 wheels as it thunders over camera. Cut to black. Chapter 4, Low Down Showdown.
What do we do now?
Well, I can swing out, get a good foothold, and climb up to the top of the stage. Then, if I'm real careful and God is on my side, I can leap onto the back of the rear horse and work my way out to the lead team, taking care not to fall beneath their thundering hoof. Then reach out, grab the bridle of the lead horse, and rein him into a safe and steady stop.
Oh, my.
Or we could jump.
Brisco grabs Dixie and jumps. They leap out and hit the ground, oof, and tumble down a slope. The stagecoach thunders off, the horses not breaking stride, rolling over and over. Brisco and Dixie finally come to a stop at the bottom of the grade, with Brisco on top of Dixie, tangled between her legs. Brisco hears horses snorting. As he looks over his shoulder, we pan up to reveal Big Smith, Pete Hutter, and the gang looming over him. They pull their guns. Brisco tries to extricate himself from Dixie, but can't because...
your petticoat is stuck in my fly.
I'll get that for you.
Oh, no, I got it.
Brisco unbuttons his fly, pulls the petticoat free, buttons back up and stands. He helps Dixie up. The guns are still trained on him.
Hey, Dix, have a nice trip.
Dixie wraps her arms around Big Smith and kisses him in a big show of affection.
Not bad, all things considered.
You got what I need?
Don't I always?
Smiling, she reaches into her cleavage and hands him the envelope she was handed earlier.
And who's your friend?
Allow me to introduce somebody calling himself Roscoe Merriweather. Roscoe, this is Big Smith. That's Pete Hutter. And this is some of the gang.
My pleasure.
It was nice knowing you too. You can shoot him now, Pete.
You're gonna
Dixie.
kill him?
Well, you use my name, Dix. You know the rules.
Dixie, I'm kind of stickler for gun safety. Could you move a little to your left?
Dixie gets in the way instead.
Don't you get it? He's somebody.
Sorry, Dixie. Existential thought doesn't hold much water out here in the territories.
Dixie's right. I'm not really Roscoe Merriweather.
Merriweather.
Yeah, Merriweather. It's Wiley Stafford. I'm an outlaw on the run.
Whoa, Kansas, Wiley Stafford?
Do I know you?
No, sir.
Who is he?
Oh, he's one crazy mean son of a bitch, that's who he is. I seen him kill 5 men in Dodge City Saloon now on 2 years ago. 5 on 1, and he killed them all. Of course, I had my snoot in the sawdust to keep my head from being blown off. Sort of looks like Kansas Stafford's build, though, you know.
I knew it.
Kansas Willie Stafford. Huh.
Where are you from, Kansas?
Answer the man.
Oh, please, Big.
Kansas.
Can't. Please, Big, can't we keep him?
Big Smith glowers at Dixie. Then...
Oh, can we keep him? All right, sure. You sure we can, Dixie? You saved your life after all. So mount up, ride with us, Kansas. Something tells me that we're going to be real best friends.
Down the stagecoach road, the stage drivers, dazed and hungover, walk down the road trading recriminations.
Buffoon!
You cretin.
Moron!
Oh!
A rider pounding down on them at a hard gallop. He reins in and skids to a stop. It's Lord Bowler on Comet.
Did the stage from San Francisco go by here?
She sure did.
Where's the next stop?
Well, today, that would depend.
He's right, but normally Sutter Creek.
Bowler feeds a green apple to Comet.
Hear that? Sutter Creek.
Exterior, the town of Sutter Creek. Day, Big Smith, Dixie, Brisco, and the gang ride into town. This town doesn't look like most other Western towns, since it's overrun by outlaws.
Welcome to Sutter Creek. 5 years ago, the gold run out. Now the sheriff's dead. The mayor runs the brothel. The ministers are drunk. My kind of town.
They dismount at the saloon. Inside, Brisco and Big Smith share a table alone. 2 glasses and a bottle of whiskey between them.
That's quite a hat you have there, Big.
Well, you're looking at $3,000. Real money. Ever hear the expression, he's got a price on his head? Well, in my case, it's the truth.
Big Smith tries to take the hat back from Brisco, but Brisco engages in a playful tug of war with it. Finally, he lets it go.
You'd have to kill me to get this hat, Kansas.
Why would I want to do that?
Tell me something, Kansas. In all your travels, have you ever run across a cowboy by the name of Brisco County Jr.?
Can't say that I have. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't he a U.S. Marshal or something like that?
No, that's the father. I'm talking about his son.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, I'm not too concerned about the father anymore. He's dead.
That's so.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, I'm the one who killed him. Well, me and 12 others to be exact. Drilled him full of holes like a cheese. He had it coming to him now. The man was a craven coward, a syphilis-ridden squaw lover, and a card-cheating drunk. I mean, you sure you never ran across his son?
Nope. And now, I hope I never do. Thanks for the drink.
Brisco calmly walks away. Exterior Main Street, day. Brisco exits the saloon and walks down the street to the general store, glancing back over his shoulder before going inside. Inside the general store, Brisco hands a piece of paper to the clerk behind the counter.
I want to send this by telegram to San Francisco.
What is it? Spanish?
Latin.
Oh, that's what they speak in Latin America, right?
Right.
Uh-huh. That'll be 37 cents.
Send it now and I'll make it $1.
The clerk happily starts tapping out the words.
Hold it. You misspelled that word. Send it again.
The clerk is surprised and impressed. As he taps out the word again, Brisco notices a woman approaching the counter, struggling with a large box that obscures her face.
Ah, here. Let me help.
That's okay, I got it.
Brisco takes the box anyway, sets it on the counter, and turns back to discover Amanda Wickwire.
Well, hello again.
It's you from the bar.
Yeah, look, no permanent damage. What are you doing here?
I live here.
Here? In the middle of nowhere?
It's not bad compared to other ghost towns overrun by outlaws.
You know, I don't even know your name.
Amanda Wickwire.
Wiley Stafford.
They shake hands. It lingers. There is a spark between these two.
Is your father with you?
Yes, he is around here somewhere, buying more stuff for one of his wonderful inventions.
The door bangs open. Pete Hutter, followed by Scratchy, Vulture Neck, and an outlaw we'll call Swede enter the store. They assess the scene. Tension fills the air.
Oh, what are you doing, Kansas? We're all down at the bar.
Then why don't you hurry back before somebody misses you?
Are you with these people?
Professor Wickwire staggers up to the counter carrying a huge stack of stovepipe. He doesn't see Hutter and crash! Bumps right into him, burying him under an avalanche of metal.
Stupid fool.
He's sorry. It was an accident. Apologize, Dad.
What a mess. Sorry. You mind giving me a hand?
You're about to have a religious experience, Grandpa.
How's that?
You're gonna see Jesus.
Pete, put the gun down.
Hutter spins on Brisco.
They say I'm the fastest draw west of the Colorado. You care to try me, Kansas?
I don't know. I'm not that good at geography.
Brisco's reply causes Hutter to relax his guard just enough for Brisco to punch him in the face with his left hand and steal Hutter's gun away with his right.
My God, he's touching Pete's piece.
Nobody touches Pete's piece.
The man apologized. Now get up and forget about it.
Forget about it? You mean rip it from my memory like a picture from a book? Picture of a small boy, he's kind of shy, with big ears, who only wanted to be liked, and the laughing faces of his classmates mocking him because he forgot to wear his pants to school. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I'm calling you out.
You don't want to do that.
You touch Pete's piece. That's something you don't want to do with Pete.
It's done. Outside.
After Scratchy hollers in the saloon that Kansas Wiley Stafford just touched Pete's piece, the town quickly assembles on Main Street for the gunfight. Hutter walks onto the street. Brisco reluctantly moves out beside him.
This is crazy. It was an accident.
Amanda, take your father and go back inside.
You ready?
Pride comes before a fall, Pete.
So does an ounce of lead in the brain pan.
Well, it was nice knowing him.
Which one?
Pete Hutter assumes the classic gunfighter's pose. Brisco stands ready. He wears an expression of annoyance and resignation, but he never takes his eyes off Hutter. Full shot, the street, the whole town looks on. Amanda and the professor, Dixie and Big Smith. The tension builds as they wait for somebody to make the first move. Another angle reveals Vultureneck moving into position on the porch across from Brisco. Swede takes up a position opposite him. Worse still, Scratchy moves into position directly behind Brisco and adjusts his gun. Brisco is being set up for a four-way crossfire ambush. Brisco is completely unaware of the danger he is in. At least, it seems that way.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Kansas.
Hutter's fingers are dancing over his trigger. Brisco stares back. Cut to black. Chapter 5, Yell to Your Horse. The tension builds. Now we see Brisco's eyes shift from side to side. He does see the ambush, but what can he do? Suddenly, Hutter draws. He fires. Vultureneck, Scratchy, and Swede all step out and fire at the exact same moment. And Brisco throws himself to the street. The four outlaws gun each other down in their own crossfire. A confused look spreads across Hutter's face as he stumbles back, mortally wounded. The same holds true for Scratchy, Vultureneck, and Swede. One after another, they drop to the ground dead.
Good God.
Good riddance.
That was brilliant.
Brisco dusts himself off. Now Dixie helps with the dusting.
Well, nice work, Kansas. You killed my four best men, Pete and Scratchy, and the other two.
Sorry, Big. I guess I was just thinking of myself.
Well, what's done is done.
Well, that's bravo, young man. Did you employ vector calculations, or did you just estimate the incidental angles of the bullets' trajectories?
Actually, I just shut my eyes and hit the dirt.
Huh.
Let's go, Dad.
Wickwire suddenly recognizes Dixie.
Are you playing here in town?
Yes, but only in private.
Dad, come on. I'm sure Miss Cousins is anxious to try out her act.
Amanda, wait a minute. I think you got the wrong idea.
She continues on without stopping.
Forget about her. She's got no use for the outlaw breed. And those who tried, well, they make up their own soprano choir.
Westerfield Club Library Day. Thorogood gestures Socrates to a chair in front of his 8-foot mahogany desk.
I got your message. Our man County has found Big Smith.
Yes, in Sutter Creek.
And why hasn't he killed him?
Because, sir, apparently Big Smith is up to something, well, big.
Does county know what it is?
No, not yet. But it may involve John Bly. Mr. County used a metaphor about not cutting off the snake's tail when you can cut off its head, if I'm translating correctly from the original Latin.
So he may get Bly. Wouldn't that be something?
Sir, I think I may know what Bly and Big Smith are up to.
Oh, really? And what's that, Poole?
I think they're going to rob the special gold train. It all adds up. The train goes right through Sutter Creek. The bandits are located in Sutter Creek. The train is full of gold. Conversely, the gold represents a valuable commodity for the bandits.
I get it. You make your point.
But don't you think it would be wise of us to wire Mr. County and warn him of this possibility?
No, because that train is not robbable.
Sir?
First off, the timetable's a secret. How can they rob a train when they have no idea when it's coming? And there's something else I haven't told you. The train will be crawling with federal soldiers.
Why is that?
The train is carrying something else besides gold. All I can say is that it's a secret government cargo.
Well, even more reason.
Why there will not be a word of this to anyone. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Dixie's room, day. Dixie ushers Brisco into her bedroom, located in the town's hotel. It is a palace of pleasure.
Relax. Make yourself comfortable.
That shouldn't be too hard.
You like the bed? It comes from France.
Louis the 14th?
No, I think Louis was the 9th or the 10th. But then a lady never counts.
Then what are these notches on the bedpost?
Oh, those just a few scratches that occurred during shipping. You know, I get my best ideas in bed.
Like what? Taking over Big Smith's gang?
Kansas, I'm surprised at you. You think I think that small?
But Big is pretty big, isn't he?
Oh, well, big's big, all right, but there are those who are bigger.
Like John Bly.
How did you know Bly's involved?
Involved in what?
Boy, we really are doing a dance here, aren't we, Kansas? I knew you'd be a good partner.
I can't dance without music, Dix. I think it's time for you to sing.
There's a train coming through tomorrow.
A gold train?
Maybe.
Dixie pulls Brisco down to the bed and runs her hand over his chest.
What's Big Smith's plan?
He's been working on the railroad. Someone's in the kitchen with Dixie.
The railroad? Where?
As part of her seduction, she slides Brisco's hand down her body. Brisco's resistance is melting.
Yeah.
How far?
Pretty far. Over the hill and down through the valley. Any more questions?
They sink in a passionate embrace down into the luxurious bed. Later, Dixie snores in sartorial bliss. Brisco straps on his gun belt and slips out the door, riding east, following the rails. Further out, Brisco walks his horse and searches for a clue. When he hears a clank, he dismounts. That's when he notices the fresh dirt. He kicks it away to reveal what his horse hit. The twin gleaming lines of the new rail spur. Brisco follows the spur and sees light and hears clanging ahead. He peers through some bushes at a crew of laborers laying track by lantern light. Cowboy foremen prod and bully them. Big Smith and his gang look on from their horses.
Keep them working. The spur's got to be done tonight.
As Brisco watches, suddenly, zing! A shot rings out right past Brisco's head. He ducks, looking around. Two outlaws ride toward him.
There. Okay, maybe you're the first outlaw. I'll be the second. No, you be the first.
Get it together. What is it?
There, I see him.
There you go.
What do you see?
Oh, it is somebody hiding those bushes.
Well, Get him!
Brisco runs and swings up onto his horse. The gang members spur their horses and the chase is on. Brisco gallops across the countryside. The outlaws are hot on his trail. He notices a handcar parked on the tracks, then veers off into the woods. Exterior, the Wickwire barn. Night. Amanda Wickwire is exiting the barn when suddenly Brisco comes galloping up. He hops off his horse, glances behind him.
Don't ask any questions. Just play along.
What are you?
He grabs Amanda in a kiss. Two of the outlaws come galloping onto the ranch.
You want something?
I didn't mean to disturb you, Kansas, or anything,
But?
Sorry, Kansas.
As they gallop, Brisco and Amanda are left standing close, breathless, neither really wanting the embrace to end. The professor
Kansas.
saw the whole thing.
Kansas.
Brisco and Amanda instantly release each other.
Yes, sir.
Let me show you what I've been working on. Excuse me, Amanda.
He slides the barn door wide open to reveal a 12-foot tall rocket in the final stages of construction.
A rocket? It's beautiful.
Beautiful?
The coming thing.
Huh?
Oh, nothing.
I know what you're thinking. She'll never fly.
No, of course she will.
If she doesn't blow up first. The last three did.
Fourth time's the charm. You know, in the future.
Rockets will chart the stars.
That's right. He's right, you know.
Nitrocellulose for propulsion?
That's what I'm trying.
Of course, the problem is containing the rate of combustion.
Exactly. Then, if it does fly, I've got to worry about stabilization. That's why I'm working on this set of fine.
This has got to be some bad dream.
You know, you might try 4 instead of 2. You get more friction, but you completely minimize your central axis rotation.
Interesting. Stay for dinner, Kansas. There's so much to discuss.
Oh, I can't. There's going to be a train robbery.
See, Dad? He can't stay because he's got to get back and rob a train.
I'm not robbing it. I'm trying to stop it. They're going to divert a gold train onto the spur right up here, off the main line. Can I borrow a fresh horse?
A few minutes later, Amanda finishes cinching the saddle on a horse.
I can't believe this. Now I'm giving you my horse.
In some countries, that would constitute a dowry.
You're not an outlaw.
No.
Then who are you?
Brisco County.
Is that where you're from or?
No, ma'am. That's who I am. Maybe you've heard the name?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Brisco is about to swing up into the saddle, but Amanda stops him.
I'm 25 years old, unmarried, living in an isolated backwater town on a ranch with my father, 100 miles from the nearest real city. No prospects, no hopes. And then I meet you. And I thought you were different. But then I found out, or I thought I did, that you were just like all the other worthless cowboys from town, a degenerate outlaw. And now I realize you're not an outlaw at all. Oh no, not you. You turned out to be just like my father, a dreamer with his head in the clouds. And I don't know which one is worse. Do you know what you're doing to me?
Yes. Because you might be doing the same thing to me.
And now you're going to ride out of here on my horse, no less. All right, what are you waiting for? Go.
Instead, Brisco grabs her and kisses her hard. A serious, passionate kiss.
That one was for real.
I want that horse back.
Brisco nods, smiles, and rides off.
Yeah.
Interior, the saloon, night. The place is filled with outlaws. Dixie and Brisco are at the bar.
Where have you been?
Getting some air.
Every time you leave, there's trouble.
The doors to the saloon suddenly bang open and Big Smith enters with Lord Bowler in tow. Bowler is beaten and his hands are tied.
Well, look who we found snooping around in the dark. Lord Bowler. And he had some interesting things to tell me, too, such as Brisco County Jr. is hot on our trail.
Brisco makes eye contact with Bowler.
Maybe he's right here in town. Hell, maybe he's right here in this room.
Brisco is squirming a little. Fortunately, no one else notices.
Well, Bowler, is he? Point him out to me. Do you see him?
No.
Big Smith hurls Bowler to the floor in disgust.
Bring in the horse.
The doors open again and Comet is let in. Clomp, clomp, clomp.
Where's Brisco, Comet? Hey, find Brisco.
Silence. Comet surveys the room.
Oh. That is what I thought you'd say. But maybe you should check one more time.
Big Smith holds up a glistening green apple.
Mm.
Comet's eyes go wide. Big Smith has discovered Comet's Achilles heel. Brisco drops his head into his hands. He knows the jig is up. Comet tries to resist as Big Smith holds the apple under his nose. Comet sniffs. Can't resist when suddenly Big Smith pulls the apple away.
Brisco first.
Driven by his stomach, Comet trots across the room. The outlaws clear a path to Brisco.
Hey, Comet. How you been?
Comet nuzzles Brisco's neck as the outlaws draw their guns.
I knew you were too good to be true, Kansas.
Brisco and Bowler are tied to the railroad tracks.
Well, boys, we've got to run. We've got a train to catch. Of course, it's going to catch you first.
Big Smith and the gang ride off.
Well, thanks for not giving me away.
Don't thank me for anything. Last thing I want is for you to be beholden to me. Why didn't you kill Smith when you had the chance?
It's bigger than Big Smith. Bly is coming here to rob a train.
What train? Oh.
Brisco and Lord Bowler struggle against their ropes. The train whistle screams. The train is close. This is going to be a real mess. Cut to black. Chapter 6, Spur of the Moment. Brisco's eyes light up.
Comet!
Sure enough, Comet stands over them. He looks down at them with a perplexed expression as if to say, "What are you idiots doing tied up to the tracks?"
It's the nag that got us into this scrape. My only wish now is that I splatter my internal organs all over your stupid face.
Shut up. He can help us. He can bite through the ropes.
He can? You mean he's done it before?
Well, no, but it's worth a try, isn't it? You got any better ideas?
Okay, get on with it.
Come here, boy. That a boy. Come over here.
Comet approaches slowly.
Good boy. Good, Comet.
You two having a friendly reunion? Because we're about to get a cow catcher up the rear.
Bite the rope, Comets. Bite through the ropes.
Me first, Comet. Me first.
Hey, don't confuse my horse.
Every man for himself, County. Me first, Comet, and I'll show you a place where there's so many green apples they're growing on trees.
Comet seems confused and conflicted, and the train is roaring right towards them.
Comet!
Here comes the train. Comet snorts, then raises his hoof and brings it down hard. It slices the rope where it meets the rail. Brisco rolls free of the tracks. He reaches back and pulls Lord Bowler from the tracks as the train rushes by. Ah! Brisco gives Comet a hug.
Thanks, Comet. And just for your information, all apples grow on trees.
Untie me, Brisco.
I got a train to catch.
But
I'll come back for you.
Brisco turns Comet around and gallops off down the tracks in the opposite direction from the train.
What the hell are you doing? The train went that way.
Exterior tracks near the Wickwire Ranch. Day. Brisco gallops along the tracks. He once again sees the handcar parked just off the tracks. He looks over at it and gallops on. At the Wickwire barn, Wickwire is at work on the rocket. Brisco gallops in.
I need your rocket now.
Moments later, the rocket is strapped horizontally to the handcar. The handcar is mounted on the main tracks.
I don't know why I never thought of this. It would have been perfect for the early propulsion tests.
Brisco throws his saddle over the rocket.
Well, I'll either catch that train or be in Denver for lunch.
As Brisco climbs into the saddle, Amanda gallops up on a horse.
This isn't my horse.
No, that's my horse, Comet.
Where's my horse? You promised to return my horse.
Light the fuse. Light the fuse.
Dad, wait, where's my horse, Brisco?
Can this wait, Amanda? I'm in a hurry. Light the fuse, Professor.
You're always in a hurry.
Professor?
Give me that, I'll light the darn fuse.
Amanda grabs the fuse lighting device and lights the fuse. It burns down fast. Suddenly, kawoosh! The rocket ignites and the handcar shoots off down the tracks. Brisco holds on for dear life. Amanda watches the rocket and Brisco disappear, a look of exasperation on her face.
It works!
We want that rocket back!
Further up the tracks, Lord Bowler sits muttering to himself and struggling with the ropes. He hears a rumble and looks back. He sees Brisco riding the rocket-powered handcar towards him.
Hey! Brisco!
Whoosh! Brisco speeds by. Brisco can barely keep his eyes open against the furious wind as his rocket speeds after the train, catching up. Meanwhile, Big Smith and his gang gas the train, causing everyone on board to pass out, including the conductor, who falls forward, jamming the throttle. Brisco races after, finally catching up to the speeding train and leaping on board. Big Smith and his gang are already robbing the train. Interior, the armored car, holding vast amounts of gold bars in the wooden crate marked UFO. Unconscious soldiers are passed out on the floor. Bang! The lock on the passage door is shot off, and Big Smith enters with two outlaws.
Ah! There's the gold, just like Black promised.
What's that? What's UFO mean?
Open it and find out.
They open the crate and reveal the orb. The perfectly polished metal sphere gleams.
Wow. Do we take it?
Blah said take everything. What the heck is that thing?
Suddenly, whoosh! Brisco's lariat sails across the air and encircles the two outlaws. In a flash, Brisco has them bound and tied.
Tony!
Big Smith lunges at Brisco and the fight is on. Punches are traded. Then Big Smith gets Brisco in a headlock.
Open the door! Open the door!
Even though they are bound up to Brisco's rope, one of them is able to kick open the big sliding door. Smith struggles with Brisco toward the door with the intention of throwing him off the train. But Brisco pushes himself away. Big Smith, who is now framed in the open doorway, draws his gun and aims at Brisco. Brisco has only one chance. He grabs the orb and uses it as a shield. Big Smith fires. and the bullet pings off the orb. Before Smith can get off a second shot, Brisco throws the orb toward him like a medicine ball. Big Smith instinctively catches the orb in the gut, but the force of the throw propels Big Smith backwards out the door at the exact moment that the train crosses a trestle that spans a deep, deep gorge. Still clutching the orb, Big Smith plummets downward and splashes into the raging rapids below.
Either untie us or do something. This here's a runaway train.
And we're running out of track.
The train is still speeding out of control. In an effort to reach the cab of the locomotive, Brisco must climb the ladder of the coal tender. He reaches the top and peers over the roof toward the tracks beyond. What he sees is not a pleasant sight. The tracks go straight off the cliff. The train is speeding towards certain demise. Close on Brisco.
Oh boy.
Cut to black. Chapter 7. Grave Peril. The train thunders toward the cliff. That's when we see that the rail construction stopped about 50 feet short of the edge. There is a danger sign and a train bumper there. It doesn't matter. The train smashes through the bumper and keeps going, running right off the end of the tracks. The engine plows through the dirt in a cloud of exploding, billowing, cascading dirt. Momentum carries the train forward, tilling the earth all the way to the very edge of the cliff. The engine finally skids to a stop with the cowcatcher hanging over the extreme lip of the precipice. Brisco grabs the side of the coal tender as the train shudders to a final stop and the dust swirls clear. He sees his good fortune. The river, day. Big Smith's hat swirls in an eddy. Once it passes out of frame, the orb bobs to the surface. It rides the white water downstream. The library. Thorogood is alone in the library as Brisco barges in.
County! You're looking for your bounty? That's not my department. See Mr. Poole.
I'm here on another matter.
I'm all ears, Mr. County.
When did you go into partnership with John Bly?
Beg your pardon?
You heard me.
Well, my hearing is fine, Mr. County. It's your reasoning that seems to be impaired.
Brisco turns and pulls a wolf's head cane from the ornate umbrella box.
This is your cane, isn't it, Thorogood? It's very distinctive. Do you use it often?
On occasion.
What about the night you passed the gold train schedule on to Dixie Cousins?
Oh. All right, now I see where you're going with this.
Should I continue?
Please do. You have me on the edge of my seat.
Your train was carrying more than gold back to Washington. It also carried an object known as the orb.
Correct, so what? The orb belongs to the government. They claimed it. They were taking it back to the Smithsonian for study.
But you wanted it for yourself. So you went into partnership with Bly. You tipped him off to the train's schedule so he could rob it. He'd get the gold, you'd get the orb, and Washington would never know that you had it.
Why are you wasting my time? You seem to have it all figured out.
Except for one thing. Why do you want it? What's so important about the orb?
Well, maybe you should ask the coolies who found it. They removed one of the orb's rods, and it gave them each the strength of a dozen men. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? But it's all true. Believe me, I know. I've tried it myself.
You did what?
I tried it myself.
And then, without warning, Thorogood punches Brisco in the face. The punch hits Brisco like a 2-ton anvil. He flies back against the wall.
Like the kick of a mule, isn't it, Mr. County?
Thorogood slugs him again, this time in the stomach. Woof! The punch is like a sledgehammer.
I feel like I'm 22 again.
Thorogood picks Brisco off the ground.
Yeah!
And throws him through the air. Brisco flies across the room, crashing through some chairs before slamming into the front of the desk.
You're a fool, Thorogood. You have tampered with powers you don't even understand.
With every ounce of strength he's got, Brisco finally manages to shove Thorogood away. Thorogood falls backwards behind the desk. Brisco clutches his throat and gasps for air, waiting for Thorogood to reemerge. He doesn't. Brisco goes over to look. When he sees what's behind the desk, he makes a terrible face. Clothes on Thorogood, contorting on the floor in agony, churning, gurgling, sputtering noises come from inside his body. Thorogood begins to dissolve away from the inside out like some giant Alka-Seltzer.
Looks like the partnership has been dissolved.
Brisco saddles up Comet.
Quite a mystery, this orb. Consider it gave freedom to the Chinese laborers, yet it took Thorogood's life. Don't you find that inconsistent?
I don't know, Socrates, but I'll tell you this. The matter deserves further study.
I agree. By the way, do you notice anything different about me?
Nope.
No tie. I'm not wearing a tie.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I'm trying to do what you said, develop a personality for outside the courtroom. I'm also thinking of dropping my G's, as in, I'll be waiting for you, Brisk. See, did you notice that I called you Brisk? That's something else I'm considering, giving people affectionate nicknames. What do you think?
Well, that's a step in the right direction.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Brisco climbs into the saddle.
Where are you going? You still have a job to do.
There's somebody I need to talk to.
Then Brisco reaches into his saddlebag and removes the music box he bought in Chinatown.
Will you do me a favor, Socrates? Will you give this to Amanda for me?
Don't you want to do that yourself? I know she'd like to see you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You think you'll ever see her again?
I hope so. But right now, like you said, I got a job to do.
I suppose some things just have to wait.
I'll be back in 2 days.
Be waiting for you, Brisk.
Brisco gives Socrates a tolerant smile and gallops off. The county ranch, day. Brisco's family is nestled in a beautiful valley at the foot of some snow-capped mountains. On a grassy hillside nearby, Brisco stands over the graves of his mother and father. The first tombstone reads, Brisco County, born November 3rd, 1838, died May 10th, 1893. The second one, Ruth Gage County, born August 9th, 1848, died March 1st, 1868.
Hello, Dad. This is tough work that you used to do. I mean, I don't know how you did it. This first one just about killed me, and I still have 12 more to go. Maybe it gets easier as you go along, huh? I guess not. Well, you had one hell of a funeral, Dad. Governors from 3 states and 2 territories showed up. I'm sorry I missed it. I'm sorry I missed a lot of things. I am going to finish the job that you started. You can count on that. I'm off for Texas next. I'm going after Ned Zed. I hear he's down there rustling cattle, among other things. Hope you're looking out for me up there. I can use all the help I can get. Okay, take it easy. I'm done.
Brisco approaches Comet, who whinnies again and then rears back on his hind legs and snorts. Alarmed, Brisco spins around to see a rider on the distant hill. The rider is watching him, silhouetted against the sky. A closer angle on the distant hill reveals the rider to be John Bly. After a long moment, Bly reins his horse around and gallops off down the hill and out of sight. Brisco watches the rider disappear.
Bly.
He knows that they will meet again. San Francisco Gazette, day, where Jonah Collier is preparing another column. His assistant takes dictation. A doctor saws off his casts.
And so Brisco County Jr. rides off into the sunset in search of additional members of John Bly's gang, and ultimately John Bly himself. But is he up to the task? I, for one, am not convinced.
Oh, well, why not? He took down Big Smith and foiled the train robbery.
Doc, you do your job and I'll do mine. Keep sawing. Do we know for a fact that Big Smith is dead? Yes, he fell 150 feet from a trestle into a river, but where's the body? And speaking of missing bodies, what are we to make of the strange demise of Randall Thorogood?
Well, who cares? Thorogood was a crook. Hooray for Brisco County.
Ouch, you're cutting too deep.
You moved. Hold still.
I can't hold still. You expect me to turn county into some kind of folk hero? I won't do it. It isn't my style.
You could mention how he has liberated the Chinese workers from their indentured servitude.
Yeah, I could if I was a muckraking social reformer, which I am not. All right, take this down. I may be wrong. Perhaps Brisco County Jr. is the man to get the job done. And even though his father casts a large shadow, the younger Brisco just may carve out a legend of his own. Of course, only time and yours truly, Jonah Collier, will tell.
A field, day. Somewhere in the countryside, nondescript. A small amount of vegetation grows. Suddenly, the orb rolls into frame and stops. The vegetation all around the orb suddenly begins to grow. Plants and flowers shoot up and flower right before our very eyes. The land is transformed into a verdant field. The orb is nearly hidden in the growth. What does this all mean? It's a word for now as we cut to black. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, that Brisco County Jr. Let's give it back to Carlton. Carlton!
Hey. Thank you guys. Oh, that was so good. So good. I want to thank all of our incredible cast. First, I want to thank Jonathan Dinnerstein, who did the amazing music. Eric Edelstein, who was our stage director, many parts. Everybody did multiple things. Kari Payton, Carlos Alazraki, Mark Evan Jackson, Richard Kind, Anna Villafane, Nestor Carbonell, Okiriate Onadawan, Baron Vaughn, John Piper Ferguson, Christian Clemenson, Kelly Rutherford, John Aston, and Bruce Campbell. Thank you all. What an amazing
script, Carlton. Good script.
Thank you guys all for coming.
Thanks, everybody,
and joining us. It was really fun. And adios.
Great to see you guys.
Amigos.
Much love to you all.
Trails.
See ya, shooter.
Later. Don't touch peace.
Oh, I
Never.
remember Ben Blacker. Oh my gosh, I've got to thank Ben Blacker. He's the person who put this all together.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
almost a horrific oversight. Ben, do you want to show yourself on the screen here, Ben? Come on.
Ooh.
Where are you? He's the person who organized all this, put this all together, made the plan. Yay! All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank
we'll see you all soon.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye, Carlton.
Bye.
Bye, all.